On today's throwback, we're having a look at the Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter, the battle-damaged Jason Voorhees. Still one of Spot's favorite figures of all time, NECA really delivered an outstanding figure, not only really with Part 3, but also with Part 4. Of the two, I think the Part 4 turns out a little bit better, just slightly better than I think the Part 3, but both figures are very, very cool. One of the reasons why, and I mentioned this with the non-damaged Jason, but one of the reasons why Spot wanted to go back and have a look at these again is because his original videos for some reason had clicking audio in it. You mentioned down below, Spot, you got clicking in your audio. I don't know why this video is clicking. Yeah, I don't know why either. For some reason, the video format that I used, while accepted at the time and produced no audio clicking, for some reason later on started clicking on me. So Spot wanted to go back and revisit some of his favorite figures. Also, this being one of my favorite figures of all time, I had to go back and wanted to look at these figures a second time around. Essentially, with the battle-damaged version of the Part 4 Jason, let's reach off camera, you would be expected to find, yes, it is the same figure as the original non-damaged Part 4 Jason. Although, it is interesting to note that the coloring seems slightly different on his shirt between the two figures. This one has more of an olive color, whereas the battle damage seems to be a little more grayer in color. Now, you could say, well, maybe because of all the victims that Jason slayed throughout the movie, maybe somehow his shirt ended up getting a little darker, a little dingier in color, that would explain it. Not really quite sure, but you can see it is different from, between the two figures. The masks are, for the most part, similar, although you will see, I don't know if you would call this a chevron, the little symbol, of course, right above the trademark symbol, right above the eye area, has now worn off on the battle-damaged version of Jason. Same also with the side red accents have also worn off. But essentially from that, except for, of course, the retooled head, I'll show you guys that in a second, it is in fact the same figure, and I'm okay with that. If it means that we get, two different variations of Jason, that's okay. Fonzie cool with me. We'll just put the other Jason to the side. Don't worry, we will bring him back into this video. The accessories, as far as I know, if memory serves me correctly, the accessories that came with battle-damaged Jason was a bloodied machete. Same machete as the original Jason, just blood. He's obviously been using this by this point in the movie. He also comes with a kitchen knife. Also slathered, there I go saying slathered, I haven't used that word in a long time, slathered with blood. Unlike the machete, the knife handle is more brown than black. Still got the little rivets there as well, keeping the handle together. A nice small touch that I certainly appreciate. I don't believe he actually came with any other accessories. Would have loved to have seen him come with, the hacksaw that he kills. I believe his name was Axel in the morgue. Cuts his throat and rips his neck open. Doesn't come with that. Kind of would have been cool if he also came with the corkscrew. Of course, he gives it to the guy in the hand. Shoves the corkscrew in his hand. Little small accessories that I would have liked to have seen included with Jason. But really, at the end of the day, when I display Jason, will I be displaying him with a hacksaw? Not likely. Will I display him with a corkscrew? Not likely either. So at the end of the day, all I really need is a trusty machete, maybe even a knife. Probably less likely the knife, more likely the machete, and call it a day. We're not calling it a day just yet. Other things that I want to point out on this figure, obviously because he is I say damaged Jason, but more he's damaging other people. He's got excessive amounts of blood all over his shirt. He's got now blood, dried up blood, so it's a little darker in color around his pan area there. But again, essentially, it's the same figure. Where the differences will change, however, is when you take off his mask. And for that, I want to just get it over. There's a little ledge at the back there that you want to make sure you get the mask over. It's a little more predominant on this particular Jason for a specific reason. And we take the mask off. And there you have a gruesome Jason. Let's put him right there. He gets a little weak in the legs, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and, there he goes. Let's go ahead and grab Jason's other figure and take the mask off. That's the only small criticism I could probably make about the figures, is that the masks are a little more trickier to get off. The face, while slightly similar, does have a little bit of change, I think, in the mouth area. It seems like this mouth is just a slight bit different. Of course, he's now got the big gash in the side of his forehead, or I guess at the side of his head, covered now in blood, whereas the other Jason did not have that. Where I mentioned in this particular video, I would likely, or last video, I would likely display this Jason with his mask. This one I might be more inclined to display him without the mask. And the reason for that is that you can take the machete, and this is gruesome, you can take the machete and wedge it into the side of his head. And Jason falls down, of course, sliding down the machete blade. That's gruesome. But I could maybe display him likely as that. A very gruesome, yet very accurate to the movie. It's a nice touch. It is really a nice touch. Go ahead and just take that off of his head. Poor Jason. In the way of his articulation, it would be the exact same as the non-damaged Jason. I guess it's true, really. It's the damaged Jason because it's got the big gash in the side of his head. He does have the ball joint in the head. Moves up and down, left and right. Shoulders, while a little on the stiff side, at least they do move out. And they also move forward and back. But you hear a lot of creaking and squeaking when you move the shoulders. A lot of it could be the culprit because he's got this rubber torso. And the torso caps over where the arm cavity sits. So a lot of times when you're hearing the squeaking, it's probably because his arm is moving over top of that rubber and it's just hitting a little bit of friction. When it comes to his arms, he bends at the elbow and also rotates at the forearm, also rotates at the hand via a ball joint. He has an upper torso crunch, though a little harder to get to be honest. It's underneath all this rubber. Like, essentially, his body is only really about that thick, but he's got this extra padding underneath, which I'm not going to actually lift up and show you, but underneath there would be kind of just a flesh articulated body torso. He has a waist swivel, and then his legs move forward, back, out, a bend at the knee, which also rotates the lower leg, and a ball joint in the foot. My plea to NECA Toys, I love the fact that you guys are producing the retro cloth figures. I still love the retro cloth figures. I know they're cheaper, just easier to make because you're essentially putting fabric over a reused body. But I hope that they can still give us 6-inch versions of some of our favorite horror icons, really. The Jason Voorhees turned out so good. Would they ever go back and consider giving us a new Pamela Voorhees? Maybe not. A Sack Jason? Maybe not. But I hope at least we can get a 3, a 4. Oh, please, can we get a Roy in a 6-inch version? The 6 we're already getting as an Ultimate Jason. That should be coming out, I think, relatively soon. But please give us, like 7, 8. Now, I'd love to get an 8. I think the kind of yellow goldish colored mask I think would translate extremely well on a figure of 6-inch, like a 6-inch variety of Jason. But my plea to NECA is please, oh please, 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 give us, the collectors, the more of the 6-inch Jasons, Michael Myers, and everything else. You'll make us so very, very happy. In the meantime, this figure is still one of my personal favorites. I don't know which one I love more, whether I love this one or the regular version more, but at the end of the day, they're just fantastic figures, and one of the reasons why I wanted to go back and look at them again. Today's throwback, we were having a look at the NECA Toys, Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter, Battle Damaged, Jason Voorhees. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more videos heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.